Good morning. Welcome back to Planet Doug Behind the Scenes for Sunday, November 6th. Don't know what time it is. It's about 6:30 in the morning. And this is an unusual behind the scenes because normally when I do a behind the scenes video, I'm talking about behind the scenes of what I did yesterday. But this is a behind the scenes of what I'm going to do in the future. Essentially what I'm going to do today. I'm assuming the weather is going to be nice. I don't hear any rain out there, and I'm hoping the weather will be good. And what I plan to do is get on my bicycle in Kuala Lumpur, kind of for the first time since I returned to Malaysia. And I want to take my bike out for a ride, and I'm going to ride along the River of Life. So the River of Life project is like a 10-kilometer long section of the Klang River, which they've been turning into like a park-like setting with bike lanes, pedestrian walkways, art projects, and things like that. And I'm just going to take my bike out this morning and go for a ride up and down the river. I'm sort of in the middle of the River of Life, which is a bit, it's not like I can start at one end and cycle the whole thing. I'm sort of right in the middle because I'm near Masjid Jamek, and I think half of the River of Life is in this direction from Masjid Jamek, and the other half is in this direction. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to go south, I guess. Is that south? I get confused about how KL is oriented. But anyway, I'm going to go this direction towards Mid-Valley, basically, down to KL Central. As far as I can go in that direction, I think it ends somewhere near Mid-Valley. Turn around and come back, and then maybe do the other direction as well, go in a loop in that direction, because it's not a great distance involved. So I don't anticipate the cycling being very challenging. What is challenging is all the technology behind it, because I have to get the bike ready, and I'm also going to be shooting video as I'm riding up and down the river, River of Life project. So that's kind of what I want to talk about this morning, the technology behind the bike ride to come, because it does get a little bit complicated. Where to start? I guess I'm going to start with a 360 video because I want to shoot this ride mainly using the 360 camera, which is this, the Insta360 One X2. And there's a close-up look at the Insta360 One X2, and I think most people are familiar with this camera by now if you've watched any of my videos. But the basic idea is that it shoots with two lenses. You can see one on this side, one on the other side, and they both shoot a 180-degree angle of the world, and then you stitch them together and you get a full 360-degree view of the entire world. It essentially films a bubble, like a sphere, in all directions, which is a kind of a cool concept. However, it films the entire world except for this narrow sliver, basically matching the width of the camera. Whatever is within the width of the camera between the two lenses is edited out of the video and becomes invisible. So the camera itself is invisible within that sphere, and I usually attach a microphone to it, and the microphone generally isn't 100% invisible. You can see a little bit of it there. You're not supposed to be able to see it, but a little piece of it always seems to be kind of hovering there in the video. But the microphone is supposed to be invisible, and then the camera has a tripod mount on the bottom, and you screw in one of these Insta360 selfie sticks, and it extends out to about 1 meter, or no longer than a meter. Anyway, there it is there. And then that entire stick is also invisible. So if I'm holding the camera out in front of me like this, which is what I normally do, you can see it there near the camera, it is filming the entire room, left, right, forward, backward, up, down. It's recording this entire room, and yet you can't see the stick holding it. You can see it in that camera, but the video that the Insta360 takes, you can't see the stick. So essentially it is like a camera is hovering in mid-air filming me. Or more accurately, it looks like another person is with me and is holding the camera and filming me, even though I'm actually the one holding the camera. But because you can't see the stick, it looks like there's another person there, you know, or the camera is on a drone or something like that. So I want to film my bike ride using this, and that presents some challenges because it has a tripod thread on the base of this stick, and this has to be mounted on my bicycle. So what I have is, when I get down to the bike, I'll show you what it looks like. I don't have my bike up here with me in the room, so I can't show it to you right now. But what I have is something from a company called RAM in the United States. They build very high quality, very strong and durable mounting systems for various electronics and cameras, all kinds of devices. So I have a U-bolt that goes around the handlebars of my bicycle, and then you tighten it down as tight as you can, and this U-bolt has a ball head on it, which looks like, do I have anything like it here? Yes, I do. It looks like this, a 1-inch rubber ball. So this is what's sitting on top of my handlebars right now, a 1-inch rubber ball. And then I have to put on top of this another device right here, because it has the tripod thread, as you can see, on top. And that's where the selfie stick screws in, and this attaches to here. So this has a very strong lever there. And then you loosen this, and then this ball fits into the base of this, which is attached to this. And then with this lever, you can loosen it and then rotate this in any direction that you like, up, down, left, right. And then once you have it positioned properly, you tighten it down with this. So this is going to be sitting on top of my handlebars. And once I have this on the handlebars of my bike, this selfie stick screws into it. And now basically I have my 360 camera mounted on my bicycle. And when it's sitting kind of like this, there's no real issue, nothing to think about. But once you start extending that pole longer and longer, and then to its full length, and then if you have this sticking out in front of the bike on an angle, farther and farther and farther, can you imagine the amount of torque that's being applied at the base? It's basically the entire weight of the camera, this pole, and the microphone, and the batteries, everything that's in the end is all being supported by this tiny 1/4-inch threaded tripod mount. And I'm a little bit nervous about that. This mounting system is designed to be strong enough to hold that kind of weight. You know, that's why you need something from RAM Mount, like as high quality a mounting system as you can get, because you can really tighten down on these 1-inch balls, and then they are not going to move. They stay locked in position. But I'm very much worried that this is going to snap right off. And then, of course, you lose the entire camera. It's going to smash to the ground while you're cycling along at high speed, or scootering or motorcycling along, and you're going to destroy your camera. However, the other day I was watching videos from a Malaysian cyclist, Zaharis is the name of his channel, and he's a long-distance cyclist, and he had a very clever idea, because he realized that when you're bike touring, you generally have this on the front of your bike as well. This is a handlebar bag, and it has a mounting mechanism here, and this clips onto the front of your bicycle. And generally this is your bag that contains all the things you need during the day. This would contain, your smartphone, you know, any little thing that you need access to during the day, that you need easy access to, you put it in your handlebar bag. And this is sitting on the front of the bike. And he realized that if he could set up his camera in such a way that the selfie stick was leaning against the bag like this, it takes all the weight, or most of the torque and the weight, off the thread. So the idea was to put this on the handlebars, attach it, and then angle it in such a way that it leans against the handlebar bag. And now suddenly you've fixed the problem. It's still an issue, but you're not as worried that this is going to snap at the bottom, because most of the torque is being taken up by the bag. It's resting against there, and this is just holding the base in position. So I spent a good chunk of time yesterday setting this up on my bike, and it wasn't easy because, first of all, my bike's handlebars are very complicated at this point. Over the years, I've had to adapt them a lot, and I've added all kinds of odd mounting or hand grips, because when you're bike touring, if you're sitting on your bike for 8 or 9 hours a day riding, your hands get extremely sore. In the past, on long bike rides, I've lost all the feeling in my fingers, because if you're resting your body weight on the palms of your hands, it cuts off the nerves, and eventually you damage the nerves in your hands. Like, ask a long distance cyclist and they'll tell you that their fingers go numb. And after a long bike ride, that stretches into months, weeks, months, or years even, you can eventually damage the nerves to such an extent that you lose all the feeling in your fingers. You just don't have a sensation in them anymore because you've damaged the nerves. So what you want to do is have many hand positions, so that you keep moving your hands around during the day, and it relieves the pressure on your palms. Unfortunately, I've always had the worst handlebars. I just got a straight bar. What you should have is a very fancy butterfly bar, which goes around like in an infinity symbol, or looks like the wings of a butterfly, and then you get multiple hand positions here, on the side, on the corners, on the top corners, and on the very top. And you can move your hand from place to place all day long. You hold your hands here, and then when they start to feel a little bit sore, you move them over to here, and you can angle the bar. And when you have one of these butterfly bars with some other attachments, you can have a lot of mounting positions. But my bicycle has just a straight bar, and then I've added my own little things I've picked up over the years, like an L-shaped grip that goes up and to the side. And then I have bar end grips that are forward. So I have essentially, 4 different hand positions. I can put my hands here. I can put them on top of the grips. I can put them on the side of the grips. And I can put them on the bar ends over there. But that uses up a lot. And I have a cycling computer, a cat eye cycling computer. You need space on your handlebars for that. And there isn't a lot of room. So I had to really think it through and figure out how I can put the U-bolt on my handlebars. I eventually figured that out, but then it turns out this U-mount, this U-bolt that I have, is a brand new thing. And you really have to tighten it down hard. And I do have 2 wrenches that I need for various bits and bobs on my bike, bolts that need to be tightened down. So I've got these 2 wrenches, but neither one is the right size for those bolts. I need a brand new wrench to be able to tighten those, and I haven't picked one up yet. So the best I could do was use my needle nose pliers on my Leatherman and then tighten it down as much as I can. But using this system with the handlebar bag and resting it, it should be tight enough for today. So I did that, but then it turned out that my normal extension arm was too long. This is the one that came with my Insta360 mounting kit. And if I put that on my bike, I realized it actually sticks up beyond the handlebar bag, and then this is resting on the handlebar bag, not the arm, not the selfie stick. And that wasn't going to work because that doesn't give me any advantage at all. So then I finally figured out that I have another one, the small arm right here, a small extension arm, and if I mount the small extension arm on the handlebar of my bike, then it's low enough that the selfie stick rests against the handlebar bag. So I spent, a couple hours yesterday working out all this technology just to be able to mount the 360 camera on the handlebars. I'd also like to be able to mount the 360 in the other direction, like going out from the back of the bike. And I'd also like to do it, to the side of the bike, many different positions. But at the moment, all I've managed to figure out is how to mount this sticking out from the front of the bike. But I think I do have that more or less figured out. And that's what I'm going to be using today to film, most of my ride. Of course, I will also want to be able to mount a GoPro on my bicycle, and I haven't quite got that figured out yet. I think in the end, if I want to do a lot of filming from a bicycle, I'm going to have to work out a new system. You can buy these special bars, almost like a T shape, that you get one mounting position on your handlebars, and then you've got this T bar that comes up and spreads out in a T, and then gives you all these spots that you can mount things on. Because these days, riding a bike is not like the old days where you just have a handlebar and a little bell, ding ding, and that's all you have. You need room to mount your cycling computer, which I have here. That needs a mounting spot. Quite often people want to mount their smartphones on their handlebars, so you need a spot for that. And now with a camera, I need a spot for my 360 mount, and then I needed another spot for the GoPro mount. I mean, by the time you're done, it is like the cockpit of a space shuttle. Cycling is a whole different experience these days. And at the moment, I don't have anything really worked out for the GoPro. I was focusing on the 360 camera, but I did put a mounting spot on my mirror because I have a rear view mirror on the bike, and it has a little plastic bar, and I put a GoPro mount on there, so I should be able to mount my GoPro on there and have it pointing ahead or behind or something like that. But it's not a very sophisticated mount. So I'm still working on that. Ideally, of course, across all these mounting points, you want them to be consistent so that you can easily go from one to the other. And for me, the anchor point for the whole system continues to be this, the GoPro Jaws Flex Clamp, and it has the GoPro quick release buckle in the top. So that is what I tend to try to have. I want to have all of my mounts all using this so that I can take, my GoPro on a RAM mount, and click it onto here, and then I can use it as a selfie stick, and I can clamp it to tables and trees and things. But I want to be able to pop it off and then just put it on my bike. So I have to have a GoPro quick release buckle attached to my bike somehow. And I haven't quite figured out with all the, you'd think with all the gear I have it would be a snap, but it isn't easy to do. My new acquisition that I picked up in Penang is this, which is very cool. The new GoPro 3-way grip, which, extends out like this. So that's a very handy selfie stick and has a tripod, built into the base. But GoPro redesigned this so that it also has a quick release buckle on the top. So that's very handy. I can quickly go from this to my Jaws Flex Clamp. But now I have to figure out how to get one of these onto my bicycle. So that's what's going on with my with mounting the cameras, and we'll see how that works out. As I've been going through my bicycle gear, which has all been in storage for 3 years, I was surprised to see that my cat eye cycle computer still works. I really didn't think it would be working at all. I certainly didn't think the battery would have any power in it, but it does, it has battery power. And I clipped it into my bike yesterday and spun the front wheel. The front wheel has a little magnet on it and a sensor, and every time the magnet goes around, it passes the sensor and sends a signal to the computer. You know, a little click, 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 click. You know, every time the wheel goes around one time, a full revolution, it sends a signal to the cat eye. And what you have to do is measure how big your wheel is, how long it is all the way around, and then you take that measurement and you enter it into the computer, and then every time the wheel goes around once, the computer knows how far the bicycle traveled, and it also tells you how fast you're going. So you basically have a speedometer and an odometer built into this, you know, which you clip onto your handlebars. And I was surprised to see that mine was still operational. However, this is something unusual. Every device that I had in storage, every electronic device with an LCD screen, the screen itself has been damaged by the heat and the humidity. And there's my current cat eye cycle computer, and as you can see, it's working. You know, you can see the numbers on display there, but look what happened to the screen. It has this big black circle in the middle, and that is what happened to all my LCD screens. Everything looks like that now. And I can still read it, but it's not ideal. So yeah, I may end up having to replace this, of course. Same thing happened to my tire pressure gauge. Has a similar screen and now has a big black circle in the middle of it. I had a special word processing unit, an Alpha Smart Neo, and it had an LCD screen like this, and it was completely destroyed. Yeah, I couldn't read anything on it at all because the same black circle appeared. But yeah, so that's some of the damage that occurred. And when you go out for a bike ride, you have to bring some other things with you. And what I normally bring with me, of course, is this is my portable toolkit. So this has all the essential tools I need for tightening bolts on the bike, tightening spokes, fixing flat tires. You know, I have my patch kit in here, tire pressure gauge. So this goes with me, you know, whenever I get on the bike, especially if I'm going any kind of a distance. You know, I always have this little toolkit with me. It's relatively heavy, actually, because I do have a lot of tools in here. And you could probably get away with a much lighter toolkit. All you really need to be able to do is patch a flat tire. That's the most important thing. So all I really need is the couple of tire levers and the patch kit and a pump. So these are really the only three things you need to bring with you. But I find I just like to have it all with me, like the Allen wrenches, for example, because things come loose on the bike, and as you're riding throughout the day, you can do little maintenance. You stop at the side of the road and something is loose and rattling on the bike, anything at all. And then you've got your little Allen keys and you can tighten bolts up and things like that. And I also bring along my Leatherman tool with me, you know, with the needle nose pliers and screwdrivers and a knife blade, everything that's in there. And you might not need to bring that with you, to be honest, but you'd be amazed how many times you wish you had it if you didn't bring it with you. So I just bring everything, and my pressure gauge for pumping up the tires, and then spoke wrenches, a couple of different sizes. I've forgotten which one I need. There's two. The most common ones are the black and the red, different sizes for spokes. I only need one of them. I think I need the black one, but I tend to have both with me, the black and the red, because you quite often come across other people, like other cyclists who might be in trouble. They broke a spoke or they don't know what they're doing, and I like to have tools to help them out as well. So I always have both. So if I run into another cyclist and they want to tighten up a spoke, I have both the black and the red, just in case, to see what size, depending on what size spokes they have, or spoke nipples. You know, you need different sizes to be able to tighten them, the sort of the spoke nipples that go into the rim. So that comes with me, the bicycle computer, the toolkit, the pump, and I'm going to be bringing my handlebar bag, of course, so I'm going to be putting that on the front of the bike so I can rest the 360 camera on there. But I also bring along, I'll have all of my extra you know, GoPro batteries and memory cards, basically my camera kit. So I need a place to put that, and it's too big and heavy to go into the handlebar bag. So I'll also be bringing along my main Pannier bag. I talked about this in a video when I was at Starbucks the other day. I have a set of Pannier bags from Arkel, a Canadian company, and I've modified this one so that it has hooks on the back that attach to the pannier racks on my bike, but I've modified it so that it also has shoulder straps, and then it works as a knapsack as well. But when I get on the bike, like today, I don't anticipate needing these, so it has clips. You know, there's one strap, one shoulder strap. These have come from various bags I've had over the years. I've actually had to make these myself as well. I can't even remember what these were attached to. You know, these shoulder straps were attached to some kind of knapsack or bicycle bag or something that I had years ago, and I unclipped them. Like this, they come from two different devices. This was from one camera bag that I had, and this one is from some sort of a knapsack that I had. I can't remember. And then I had to put all these little hooks on the end so that they work as shoulder straps. So once I take them off, they get tucked away inside this side pocket, and that's generally where I'll put my toolkit as well. Toolkit goes in there on the side, and now I have a pannier bag. And this pannier bag has a real history to it, kind of a crazy history, very appropriate to me and Planet Doug, I suppose, because these are brand new. I've never used these before, and I bought them just before the pandemic hit. Before, on all my previous trips, I had the same set of pannier bags, but the original versions, and this is what they looked like. So a different color. These are smaller bags. These are the ones that go on the front of the bike. So these are front pannier bags. And yeah, I bought these in, I guess, 1999, 1998, maybe 99, I think I bought them. And I've used them ever since. And you usually have a set of 4 of them. 2 on the front of the bike, the small ones, and then 2 on the back of the bike, the big ones. So I used to have 2 small ones, this color, and 2 big ones, the same color. And they had the older system for mounting the bags. Basically, what I have here, these 2 hooks, very simple hooks on the top, and then a little gizmo here that locks them into position. And this was the original mounting system that Arkel used. But when they came out with these bags, stick with me here, they changed the entire mounting system. They went with a very modern, very technical, very fancy new system. And this is what the new system looks like. It's going to be almost impossible for me to describe, but they have a big bar here. And then the way what they're designed to do is make it very, very easy to put the bags on and take them off. So it has a strap here, and as you pull up on the strap, it rotates these cams. There's a close-up, and you can see as I pull up on it, those cams spin in a circle. And what that does is lock them into position. So these are on your bike, you know, your bags are on your bike and it's shaking up and down, and they can fall off quite easily. So you have to have some kind of a locking mechanism. And this is the Arkel locking mechanism. It locks into position. But they designed it in such a way that when you pull up on this handle, it simultaneously unlocks it and then pulls the bag off the bike. So essentially you can stop your bike, grab the handle, pull up, and your bag just pops right off. And then you put it back on again, and then they lock into position. And yeah, it's an extremely technical solution. And these also are movable, so these hooks can move back and forth along the bar to accommodate different sizes of pannier racks. And it's a very highly engineered, very well made system that they've developed. Unfortunately, I don't like it at all. I prefer the old system. To me, this is way too fancy. I just found it kind of too much. There's just too much engineering here. Plus, the main problem is there was no way to adapt it to turn this into a knapsack. Just the way they're designed, I could not figure out a way to turn these into knapsacks with the system that I used to use. So, because I am completely insane, I spent all this money to buy brand new pannier bags from Arkel using the newest, most powerful, engineered, high-tech release mechanism. And as soon as the bags arrived, I removed them. I took them off because I don't like them. They're also big and heavy. It's like a very complicated system. And then you need these very complicated hooks, and I don't know, I just didn't like the whole thing. So I took these off the bag, and then I took my old pannier bags. As you can see, there's no hooks on these ones anymore. So I took my old hooks off my old bags, drilled some new holes over here, and mounted the old system on the new bag. Is essentially what I did. So this is all done manually. Basically, you've got two hooks and a lock that you spin. So what you do basically is take this, hook it over the top, and then you've got to take this and spin it around to lock it into position. And I just like that a lot better. It's just simpler, easier. I think a lot of modern technology is designed to be lightweight and fast. And I'm not concerned about either one. So maybe the new system is a little bit faster for taking the bags off and putting them back on again. All you do is pull up on the handle and they pop right off. And that might save you, I don't know, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, I don't know. And then, I don't know, 5 seconds is not that valuable to me. So the older system, where you basically have to line up the hooks, put the hooks in, and then kind of reach behind the bag, like through the pannier rack, grab the locking mechanism, and twist it into place. That might take 5 seconds. And to me, that's not a great deal of time. So it doesn't matter to me that, you know, the new system is a little bit faster, a little bit smoother, a little bit more efficient. I don't mind taking the time, you know, to work with this old, clunkier system. I just like the simplicity of it. And as I said, the most important thing is that I can take this system and convert it into a knapsack. And I wasn't able to do that with, with the new mounting system. So there's another technology story for you. That is it for now. What I'm going to do now is get everything put together, and I'm going to go down to my bike, which is in the lobby of the hotel, and I'll show you some of the things on the handlebars that I was talking about and how all of this fits on the bike. And I'll show you visually, you know, everything that I've been talking about. And I may ride my bike up to a McDonald's and up the hill here and have breakfast at McDonald's before I go to the River of Life and start my day. Yeah, I might do that. We'll see if that happens or not. I think we're okay as far as the weather goes. Just looking outside. It's not raining now, and there's even a little bit of blue sky up there. The first time you do anything, especially something like going out for a bike ride for the first time in years, you know, it can get very, very complicated. So this feels like a major project that's underway, especially because I'm figuring out how to put the 360 camera on, how to put the GoPro on. There's just a lot going on, so it's a little bit overwhelming and I'm moving pretty slow. But let me give you a closer look at what I was talking about. These are the handlebars that I was saying are a bit odd, because as you can see, they're straight handlebars, just go from one side to the other. The better handlebars to get are the butterfly bars, like I said, and they would go out in a figure 8 pattern. Much larger and more interesting bars. But I got a flat bar, and then what I did was I put these L grips on the inside. So I've got this hand position here. That's the normal one, because you have access to the brakes and to the gears. You know, that's where you normally ride. But then if you want to sit more upright and then take the pressure off your hands, you know, I just raise them up here. So I've got down here and then up above. And if you want to lean forward a little bit, I've got bar ends over here. So basically 1, 2, 3 positions, and I can't really do that. But I mean, you can kind of hold them here towards the inside, out towards the outside. But that's basically what I've got going on with my handlebars. And here, this is the mount for the handlebar bag, so it takes up a lot of space. This is for the bike computer. Actually, I think I have it in my pocket right now. So let's clip that into position. So that's where my bike computer goes. And the only space I had left was right here, just this tiny gap, a very narrow gap, and that's where I mounted my RAM mount. So that's where the 360 camera is going to go, you know, mounted right on top of this ball head. And then, just for fun, yesterday, I took this other GoPro mount that I have and I mounted it on the mirror over here, which is not ideal in any way, shape, or form, but that's the only thing I could do right now. But that's what's going on there. So there's the bike. It's kind of the best I can do in terms of lining it up for the GoPro and having it in the light. An amazing thing is that after 3 years, I remembered the combination to the lock. It's not much of a lock, to be honest. Anybody could smash this open with a hammer or brick or anything they have, but that's something you have to balance, because, I mean, if you have some sort of a indestructible kryptonite lock, it's going to weigh a ton, right? It's going to be so heavy, you can't really carry it with you. But I just have this cable, which is handy to go around large trees, and I developed my own little system here for carrying the lock. I just put a bag on the handlebar, on the top bar, and my lock fits into there nicely. So that's that. Handlebar bag, and this is an Ortlieb handlebar bag, and it essentially just clips onto the top and then locks into position underneath. So that's the handlebar bag. There's really nothing in it right now except my smartphone. It's pretty much the only thing in there. Normally it would have some weight in it. And a rear pannier bag. These Arkel bags are unique because of the way they're designed with the pockets. They're actually asymmetrical. Like most pannier bags, the left one and the right one are exactly the same, but Arkel designed their bags for specific purposes, and this one fits on the right side and the other one goes on the left, and it has you mount these basically by hooking this on the bottom. So you hook that on the bottom of your rack, pull it upward, and then these two hooks clamp over the top. And then what I was talking about earlier, this is the method I have to go through. I have to reach behind, grab this locking mechanism, and then twist it into position so that it locks. And the new system, all you do is pull up on the handle and it comes right off. but now I have to reach underneath, you know, grab the lock and lock it into position and unlock it each time. But yeah, so there's the basic bike. But all of that is somewhat irrelevant to today because I'm very familiar with this bike. Everything I was just doing now, I've done it hundreds of times. But this is brand new. Putting the 360 camera on here, this is a whole new thing. So as I said, I've got the ball head here, the ram mount 1-inch ball head. And in theory, this clamps over top of it. And then I can tighten it down. Yeah, I was playing around with different angles to see what would work best. Angling it off to the side seemed to work the best. Tighten it down. And now I have the base mounted here, but as you can see, the selfie stick is resting against the handlebar bag. So if I extend it, I don't know if it's still in the camera frame or not, but if I extend it higher and higher, the weight is not, the torque is not on the base, it's being taken up partway up the pole because it's resting against the handlebar bag like that. So that's the theory anyway, and we'll see how well it works. From here, my bike looks like it's a creature from Mars now. I should take a picture of this because I have so many things sticking out in different directions. But I wouldn't normally have both the GoPro and the 360 camera mounted at the same time. But it does look like an alien insect creature of some kind. And yeah, I'm just gonna hop on the bike and ride someplace to have breakfast before I head down to the River of Life, the maiden ride, the inaugural ride. I have no idea how this is going to work out. This could be kind of crazy. Well, we'll see what happens. Go for a ride. Well, there we are, cycling for the first time in a long time. At least cycling on this bike. And I'm not recording with the 360 camera. I'm going to use that when I go down the River of Life. I just have the GoPro. And the GoPro mount is not very good right now. It's very loose and wobbly. So the camera is shaking like crazy. But we'll see how well the GoPro stabilization works. That's a little bit better. I adjusted the GoPro mount. It's a little bit more stable. But I have the whole thing attached to my mirror stock. And the mirror mount is not very stable. Just a thin piece of plastic. It's not really meant to support a camera. I have to say, this feels pretty nice. Very nice indeed to be on a bike. I had the experience of riding around Penang on a folding bike. But that's a whole different feeling. You feel very much like you're just sticking to your own neighborhood. Very small frame. Kind of rough ride in a way because you've got such small wheels. But this is a full-sized bike. And I know from experience it has the gear power to go up any hill. So I had an interesting experience yesterday when I met up with someone for breakfast, and she's a cyclist. And I was looking at her bike, and she had a very interesting gearing combination. On the front, she had just one small gear, and that's it. One small ring, basically. And then on the rear cassette was totally different from anything I'd ever seen. It had a variety of gears, maybe 7 or 8, but the largest one was huge, a huge ring. I'd never seen anything quite so big in my life, I don't think. And that's an interesting combination because you get this small ring on the back, huge one, I mean a small ring on the front, huge ring on the back, and that gives you the maximum amount of torque. So you can power your bike up the steepest hills, you know, using a combination like that. And I actually counted the teeth on that ring because I wanted to compare the teeth to mine, because you can sort of do a calculation about the torque you would get based on the combination of the rings on the front and the rings on the back. And I'm not quite sure what I have on my bike, but I've made an effort to get very powerful gearing on this bike as well. Like, I'm nowhere near the bottom, you know, the most powerful gear that I have, and I'm going, you know, up this relatively steep hill, but I have all the power in the world, you know, all kinds of torque. And I can keep dropping down into lower and lower gears. When I reach my lowest gear, I find when I'm climbing up really steep hills, I hover around 5 kilometers an hour, between 5 and 6. I just dropped down into my lowest gear. I think I'm in my absolute lowest. And it's just such a weird feeling because your legs are spinning around really fast as if you're going 100 miles an hour, and yet the bike is just creeping along currently at 6.5 kilometers an hour, and that just gives you a lot of power for going uphill. Yeah, for this hill I don't need that kind of torque. I can go faster. Oh, what a nice feeling. Nice to have my rear view mirror too. I'm actually cycling in a bike lane, which is kind of an odd experience for me. I'm not used to riding in bike lanes. But with the mirror, I can monitor traffic coming up behind me, which is really nice. But just from a logistical point of view, cycling can be problematic because there are times when you want to get off the bike. Like, for example, I'm riding to McDonald's right now, and when I get to McDonald's, of course I want to get off my bike and go into McDonald's, but you have to lock up your bike to keep it secure. And I just know, because I came here the other day, that there is a place there where I can kind of lock up my bike. But then all your valuables have to be unhooked from the bike, and you have to take all your valuables inside with you. So it can become a pretty complicated procedure. And on a day like today, to be honest, I wouldn't normally have a Pannier bag and a Handlebar bag. I would usually just have the Pannier bag. I would only use the Handlebar bag if I'm going on a long tour, you know, for a full day of cycling. But I have my Handlebar bag with me today because I wanted to test this mounting system for the 360 camera. So I have both, and I have to unhook the Pannier bag, unhook the Handlebar bag, take off the GoPro, take off the 360 camera. It's a whole procedure every time you want to get off the bike, because you have to keep everything secure and safe. And here we are at the Wisma Lim Fu Yang. And one of the reasons I wanted to come back here is just to take some video of the ordering process that I went through, learning how to use their touchscreen. Just to capture the complexity of this experience, I've already taken off the GoPro, of course. I've moved it over here, hooked it onto a fence, and now basically, yeah, I have to lock up the bike. That's where this little bag comes in handy. You get access to your lock really easily. Yeah. Ideally, of course, you would lock up your rear wheel, the frame, and the front wheel. But in this situation, the cable can't really reach the front wheel as well. And I'm not that worried about theft here, to be honest. And of course, I have to take off my bike computer. And I usually keep that in this pocket here. That's where the bike computer goes. Got to unlock this. Just pops off. That comes off like that. And now the handlebar bag. It also has a locking mechanism. You have to push down on the lock, unclip the bottom, and then that comes off. And now, because my life isn't complicated enough, I have to remove the 360 camera. It's okay. But the other thing though that's a bit of an issue now is like I have this special RAM mount on here, and anybody that knows what this is could easily unclip it and just take it. But I mean, I can't dismantle the entire bike every time I want to go inside. You know, I've got my GoPro mount over here. Anybody could unclip that and take it. Modern bikes these days, they also have quick release mechanisms, like quick release on the seat and quick release on the wheels. If you have a quick release here and you have an expensive saddle, someone will just unclip it, pull it out, and they'll just steal it like that. So you can't have a quick release on your seat post. If you have quick release, I do have quick release on the tire here. But the way this bike is put together, it's very difficult to remove the wheels to get it past the pannier rack and everything. So it's relatively safe. But anyway, that's it. And in these bags, you know, they all have straps inside, so you can take the strap out. And now at least, you know, come on. You have a, you know, shoulder strap. And this one, if I was going a long distance, I would put on my knapsack, shoulder straps, and I just wear it like a knapsack. But I'm only going to McDonald's, so yeah, that wasn't so bad. It's a bit like a muscle memory, you know. I haven't done all this for a long time, but yeah, I remember how to do it. I've just never tried to do all this while dealing with so many cameras and gadgets. This is all new to me. I've never shot video really from a bike before. So, and of course, now that I'm going into McDonald's, good morning. You have to remember to put on your mask. You have to remember to bring that. It's just, life's complicated. And of course, you have to remember to bring your touch and go eWallet in your phone and your, okay, it is, I was worried for a minute there that McDonald's wasn't open, but there's a place beside it here called Pop, and that's closed, but yeah, McDonald's appears to be open, takeaway and dine in. All right, let's check out this fancy ordering system. which I'm now an expert in. Oh, I have to get my phone out because I'm going to use my phone to pay for things. All right, I have my phone all set up. So pretty simple, of course. Start order right here. You can change language. Eat in or take away. Eat in. And they have all of the items, of course, that you can order. But my companion yesterday told me about the mysteries of mix and match, where you get a much better deal if you make your own. So I'm going to get the sausage McMuffin with egg. And then you can combine it with something. And this morning, I think I'm going to go for the small hot tea Tarek. So there's my order. You can customize it or change it and add that to your order. And they say it's been added to my bag. So 6 ringgit 13. And yeah, I think that's all I'm going to get for now. I'll probably order a second one, to be honest, but I'm going to start with that. Next, they suggest something you might want to add, but no thank you. And then you can donate to a charity if you wish. And there's my full order with tax, comes to 6 ringgit 50. Confirm my order. And then how would you like to pay? You can pay at the counter with cash or cards and eWallet. So I'm going to do the eWallet. You can get table service if you want using these. I'm going to do that. So I don't know if you... So you have to enter the table tent number and press continue. The next one up is 116. 116. Continue. Payment method. Now this confuses me. I guess QR payment, credit, debit, QR, and then you hold your QR underneath the scanner. And it worked. So we're preparing your order. Please take your receipt. There's my receipt. Look at that. It's like a rental agreement for a car or something. It's so long and complicated. Make sure to take your number tent so they know where to find you. And that's it. You're done. They already came and took away my the number for my table order, 116. Egg sausage McMuffin, tea Tarek. At first I looked at my tray and went, oh, there's no creamer, because I thought I ordered coffee, but I didn't. I ordered tea Tarek. And it comes with cream, with milk and sugar already added. When I was here yesterday, I was very impressed. I had the tea and then I ordered coffee afterwards. And they were both very hot, much hotter than, expensive coffee that I would get at a fancy cafe. So, I have to admit, I love McMuffins, sausage McMuffins. I think the one that I had yesterday was the first one that I'd had in countless years. I can't even remember the last time that I had one, to be honest. The whole time that I was in Thailand during the pandemic, so actually Myanmar plus like almost 3 years in Thailand, I never went to a McDonald's that entire time because there was no McDonald's in Mae Sot. That I never saw one anyway. Now I'm thinking back because I did go to some other cities and you'd think I must have seen a McDonald's at one point or another. But I don't remember ever seeing one. I don't remember having a meal. So I think yesterday was my first time at McDonald's in, I don't know, 3.5 years. And even before that, I went to McDonald's here in Kuala Lumpur, but I don't think I ever had a breakfast of any kind, like a sausage McMuffin. So the last one I had, I can't even tell you how long ago it was, how many years ago. They're so good. And then they're such good value too. in terms of what they cost. They're very substantial. And I think that's it for this morning and behind the scenes. Just a little look at the technology involved in going for just a bike ride. And now that I go for a bike ride with a GoPro and a 360 camera. Yeah, figuring it out slowly but surely. All right, I'm going to enjoy my breakfast, and I'll see you in the next video.